Hi curl friends, welcome back to the Frizzandfrillzz channel. My name is Chloe. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss any of my curly tutorials and tips. Today is a very special video because we're teaming up with two of my favorite brands / people. Curlsmith is gonna be sponsoring this video, so thank you to my family over there. I love them to death. If you guys have been here at all for a little bit, you already know how much I adore Curlsmith. They are such a fantastic brand. I have used them for, I kid you not, years. Years before I was even creating content online. I have been using them. I spent my hard-earned money on them. I feel so lucky to be able to work with them now. And then on top of that, with today's topic of the video, we are going to join Miss Bianca Renee today, and we are going to be trying out her routine. And her routine is very different from mine. And she's actually over on her channel today doing my routine, which is with the full finger coiling technique that I use. And if you're not familiar with that, I'm gonna link my video up here, which teaches you everything you need to know about my whole technique when it comes to my wash and go. But today, Miss Bianca, she does everything a lot more quickly, a lot more just like go with the flow. And I'm excited but slightly nervous because I'm very particular, and her and I have similar hair but also very different at the same time. She has a little bit more of a tighter curl pattern and she has thinner hair, whereas I have a little bit looser of a curl pattern and my hair is thicker. But we're gonna try using the same Curlsmith products that we both know and love, but we're gonna be using them in a different way. And this is gonna help, I'm hoping, to show you guys where you can watch both of these videos and see how different of results you can get from different techniques of application. So let's go ahead and get into it. As you can see, my hair is definitely not ready for the day. So we're gonna have to go get this wet. I'm gonna go wash. Today I'm gonna be washing with my favorite detox line. If you're not familiar with this, I'm gonna link it below. It includes, I'm gonna actually show this to you guys right here. This is gonna include your primer, which is a prebiotic, amazing for the microbiome of your scalp, the wash and scrub, which is literally one of my holy grail products. I cannot tell you how much I love it because it's almost impossible to put into words. And then last but definitely not least is the postbiotic calming conditioner. This whole kit, phenomenal. It came out last year. If you haven't tried it, you need to if you are looking to take care of your scalp. I'm also gonna be using the Curlsmith Double Cream Deep Quencher. I'm gonna put this up here because it's already in my shower, ready to go. And so because my hair is thicker and because Bianca's hair is a little bit thinner, I believe what she's gonna do today is take that deep conditioner and wash most of it out, but I'm going to use it as a leave-in as well. So I'm going to wash part of it out today and leave some of it in, so that it's kind of a double whammy for a product. And then I'm gonna be right back and I will show you what we're gonna be styling with today. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we are back with fully wet, fresh hair, and it's time to style. So here's what we're gonna be doing. We are going to be using these two products, okay? So we're gonna keep it really simple. We've got the Weightless Air Dry Cream, phenomenal product, came out along with the Detox line. While it's a leave-in, it also, I feel like, is a great styler. So we're gonna use this. It adds a lot of hydration. I did leave in the deep conditioner. I did leave that in just more so on my ends and washed out around my scalp just to make sure that my curls don't get weighed down right there. And then we're gonna be using this. I'm probably gonna use a decent amount of it because I need a lot of hydration, but this is a really nice lightweight leave-in, okay? It's like a good middle ground for people who have their curls weighed down easily. So I would highly recommend this. And then we're gonna use literally my tried and true souffle. It's one of my absolute favorites. While it does say, and all of Curlsmith's products will tell you right here if they have a certain amount of hold. This one right here, if you can see, this one does say a medium hold. However, I personally find this gives me a medium to high hold. So I would actually categorize it closer to like a 7 than I would a 5. Okay, now, normally in my routine, I would use a brush, but Bianca doesn't use a brush. Woo, okay, this is literally going to be so different from my routine, but it's okay because it's good to change it up, and we are gonna be complimenting Bianca's Change It Up challenge. So we're gonna just finger comb product through and do our best to get as much tangles and knots out while applying the product like she does. So this is gonna be one of the, I would say, a quicker routine. So we're gonna see how it works on my thicker, drier, more porous hair. So let's get started. So while I'm also, I'm texting Bianca right now too, as I am also watching her YouTube video to make sure that I'm doing it to her specific routine. So right now I'm watching her Curlsmith Gel and Leave-In Conditioner. And this one she's using the Flexi Jelly. I am gonna put that video up here kind of as I'm going through so you guys can see the similarities from her routine to what I'm gonna do right now. But she said she uses the gel here the exact same way she would use the souffle and the leave-in at the same time. So what we're gonna do, as I'm following along, we're gonna use this weightless air dry cream, and I'm gonna use a lot because your girl needs hydration. And we're gonna start just as she does by applying it towards the ends and just bringing it up and finger combing that through. Okay. And actually one of the things she did tell me that she does normally a two-part. So she only puts it into 2 sections. I will normally put mine into like 7 sections because my hair is so thick. Hers is thinner, so she can get away with that. She told me she would permit me to do 3 sections. Thank you so much, Bianca, love you. So what we're gonna do is I think I'm gonna do a top section, but just kind of make that a little bit smaller so it's those top curls that you're seeing more of. So I'm just gonna pop those up with one of my claw clips to get out of the way. Ow, that kind of hurt. That was rude. So we're just gonna separate this in the back into 2 even sections. Make sure that's nice and split up. And we're gonna continue to apply product. So let's add a little bit more, and we're gonna do this on this bottom section down here. My hair needs normally a lot of hydration, a lot of cream product in order to make sure it's properly hydrated and defined, shiny, etc. So that's one thing you'll probably see a little bit of a difference with her and mine, mainly because I do have naturally very thick follicles. And then on top of that, I have damaged mine by bleaching it, okay? If anybody tells you that bleach won't damage your hair, they're wrong. While my hair does look very damage-free, when you look on my Instagram, I'll put that here, and you guys can kind of see, I mean, I get a lot of shine and definition, but that's also because I've learned that I need some of these different techniques and extra product in order to make sure it stays that way. Deep conditioning treatments, etc. That's why I did make sure that we did a deep conditioning treatment today. I cannot go without them. My hair just really needs that extra hydration. So we are just, as you can see, finger combing that through, always starting at your ends to deposit the most product down there and then working it up so that we don't have too much way down in the end. I'm gonna bring in a little bit more, and I might even bring in a little bit more water. So something too, I didn't see her using a Frizzandfrillzz spray bottle, which is one of my tried and trues, mainly because my hair with the high porosity does lose its hydration quite fast. So I am gonna just bring in a little bit more water here. This is a Frizzandfrillzz spray bottle. And we're just gonna bring that a little bit more towards the top to make detangling a little bit easier since we are not using a brush. Like, this is fighting every fiber of my being right now to not do that. Okay, so now we've got our, I feel like, a good amount of our air dry cream in. If you guys can see, some lovely leftovers. And then we're gonna go in with the Curl Defining Souffle. Like I said, this is a tried and true. I've been using this thing for years, and I know it works really well on my hair because it is actually hydrating as well. So let's go through some of the ingredients that they really pop out. One of those is babasu seed oil. I really hope I'm saying that right. But so we've got what I would think is probably lighter weight oil. Flaxseed, I personally have found I adore flaxseed based gels. Love, love, love them. They have this extra viscosity about them, and they just really add almost a slip too when you are adding them into your curls. So I really like that about a flaxseed based gel. Also has rosemary. Rosemary is known for being really great for helping growth as well. And then we have mashed avocado in here too, sage leaves. Everything about Curlsmith, they use a lot of really natural ingredients, which I love. They're CG friendly. If you are following that type of routine, they're just phenomenal all around. And they're just a great company in general. So let's go ahead and add some of this. Okay, we're gonna go, I need a decent amount of product in general. So we did a pretty hefty amount on this half, okay? So as you can see, this is really just smoothing through really beautifully. Make sure you really get in on those curls too around your face. Those ones tend to be a little bit thinner, a little bit wonkier. You can still feel a few snarls in there. So I wanna try to get where I have as little kind of pushback from my fingers as possible. I'm gonna add just a slight amount more. This is their large one. They have a smaller one that comes in a tub, but I actually really like the larger one so that I can squeeze it. So we're just gonna add that in, okay? And then the next step in her routine after she has applied her product in that sense by raking it through, you can't see the end of my curls. So we're gonna run through. You can hear that lovely squishy scrunchiness. So we're gonna go in and scrunch this up. Okay. Now, what I can tell about my curls, I'm gonna come up a little bit closer. What I can tell right now is I'm probably going to get some more clumping, and I'm probably gonna have some extra frizz because I'm not defining it as much as I normally would. So keep that in mind. I have a feeling that we're gonna see a little bit more frizz right off the bat, and we might see some more, less coils, but we might get some more kind of like S shapes and some more that are a little bit wonkier, because I would normally go through and finger coil and really work on defining those curls, but that takes a lot of extra time. So with Bianca's routine, we're really gonna work on time saving. And sometimes, sometimes a time-saving routine is really nice. So this is gonna be very fun for me to try and really see how different my results are by going with this type of routine versus my normal routine. I'm excited to see what it's gonna turn out like. So again, on the left side now, I am going through with my souffle and really working that through, making sure there aren't any more snarls and ensuring that everything is really nice and coated. Also, I like to kind of pull it out too, instead of pulling it down. Also adds with some extra volume by the root. Now, one of the things that she does not have as much of, she doesn't have as many of the shorter layers like I do, and I have a lot of shorter pieces that are around my face that get really kind of weird. So I'm just gonna pay a little bit more attention to those. I'm not going to finger coil them, but I am just gonna pay attention to them and make sure that they have a good amount of product so that they don't frizz out as much as sometimes they would. Okay, now let's go in. I'm gonna come up a little bit closer to the camera. You can see how this looks, right? Okay, so they're not super defined right now, right? They're pretty kind of separated, but that's okay. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. You can see we have a little bit of cream in there that is just kind of coming out. I like for there to be that little bit of extra product personally. One of the things I can feel right now is that the back of my head is feeling extremely frizzy, probably because I haven't given it enough product back there. I was really focusing on the front and the side. So I'm gonna go back in and add a little bit more product right in the back, kind of just smooth that down a little bit, and then add in a little bit of gel as well. And make sure that gets a little bit more product attention. if that doesn't get enough hydration and product, the back for me is even coarser and it tends to be that much more unruly. So it's really important that we pay attention to that back crown area so that we keep that nice and hydrated, nice and shiny, and less frizzy. Okay, now that we've done those bottom layers, we are going to move to the top. I tell you, this is definitely a time saver. Right now we've been styling for like maybe 5-10 minutes. So I'm just going to part this, and I am just gonna leave, because I do have kind of front bangs, so I'm gonna leave those to be just a slightly different area. Woo, so much hair. So you will see I have so much hair. It's just so thick. So this is definitely a challenge. Very different from what I would normally do. But I'm hoping, even if this this is gonna turn out very different than from my normal routine, I can tell you that for sure. But I'm hoping that it turns out fairly decent so that we can see, we can do a quick routine. I almost grabbed for my brush. I want you guys to see that we can hopefully do a different routine. We're gonna add some of that cream. That we can do a different routine that's still gonna work. It just might not last as long. The reason I normally do finger coiling is because it lasts so much longer for me. Oh, I just realized I separated this top half into 2 halves. I honestly don't think I can do any less sections because my hair is so insanely thick that if I tried to do that, we would not have proper product application at all. So it's gonna have to be what it is. This is still significantly larger sections than I would normally do. I'm impressed that Bianca can do 2 sections. Very impressed that she could do that. And go through without a brush. Her hair is definitely, I think her hair is low porosity. She does not do a ton of like highlighting. I think sometimes she has a little bit of highlights done, but she doesn't do as much as I do, which has made my hair dry a lot faster normally and sometimes more frizzy, unfortunately. Y'all, I gotta do it. I gotta use a brush. I can't not do it, okay? I gotta do it because this top section, do you hear it? It's just so thick and tangly. It needs a little extra TLC. It needs the brush. What I will tell you, I bet you I'm gonna get more volume from day one because it's gonna be a lot less piecey. Ooh, no brush. Bad Chloe, no brush. I should not have that brush in front of me because I want to reach for it because it's kind of like I'm on autopilot, right? Because I've done my routine for how long. And so for me to not use my brush is very odd. Okay. And to not be finger coiling. 2 things I'm very used to. I'm gonna bring in my brush just on that section because it's so tangly. Here we go, that's better. So I wanted you to see how these ends are kind of starting to dry. We've got some curls, but they're not super clumped for me. They're definitely more piecey, which is perfectly fine. I'm actually really excited to see what this is gonna do for my curls. Now this section is also one that I'm gonna brush through because these little bang pieces will turn into just straight frizz. So if we want this to actually come out decent, we do need to have a little bit of a brush and to add plenty of product here. Add a little gel for that extra hold. You can see I have these little kind of baby hairs right here. So those just need a little bit more TLC, otherwise they just turn into straight frizz. Same goes on this side. So I'm trying not to like actually finger curl them. I'm just kind of trying to bring them together and then scrunch them. So I think that'll be fine. And we're just gonna run that brush last time through and scrunch that through. I can tell you right now, just looking at this is just very different than what my hair normally looks like. I normally have some more clumps in there, and this is gonna be a lot more piecey, probably a lot more volume. But I'm excited to see what it's gonna look like. It's been a long time since I've done a simpler routine like this. So now the next thing Bianca says is that she normally will let her hair air dry for a little while and let it kind of just get that initial moisture out. Now, because my hair is so thick, it will normally take me 2 or 3 hours minimum to get it to even come close to drying. So I'm gonna give it about 30 minutes to air dry and get just that initial little bit of a cast. Souffle doesn't really give me a ton of cast normally because it's not a super strong hold. And that's one of the things I actually really like about it, is that it doesn't get too crunchy. So I'm gonna let this air dry for about 30 minutes. Right now it is 10:30. We're gonna come back at 11 o'clock and then we're gonna diffuse. Now her and I have the same diffuser, so we have the same Dyson. So this is actually really helpful for us to have the same type of diffusing product, because sometimes they can really make a pretty big difference depending on what kind of diffuser you're using and what kind of dryer you're using. So I'm gonna use the same one that she has currently. From this video, this was taken a while back. I don't think she had her Dyson at that point, and neither did I. But in our current routines, we both use a Dyson. So that's gonna be helpful to use. And I will be back in 30 minutes. Okay, bye. Okay, and we are back. So here's the deal. We have started drying a little bit. We got a little bit of some cast here on the top. The ends are still extremely wet because all that water is moving down to my ends. So, I mean, I could probably sit here for another like 3 hours and I probably still wouldn't be dry. So it is time to break out the diffuser. From what I can tell, Bianca does a very similar whole process to her diffusing, but she air dries a lot longer. I don't have the time right now to be able to do that. I've actually got another meeting I've got to be at in an hour. So we got to break out the diffuser. But I'm going to do the diffusing very similarly to the way she does, and we'll see how the curls come out. So we're going to bring out the lovely Dyson and start diffusing. Let's go. Now, I wanted to show you while I'm diffusing kind of what I'm seeing already, what you're gonna see for my curls. So what you're seeing here while we're diffusing is I am seeing some wet frizz, and anything that is wet frizz will turn to dry frizz. It doesn't just disappear automatically. So keep that in mind. We're gonna see more frizz, but that's okay. And we're also going to see probably some more volume, which is one of the things that I am very excited to see, and just kind of get like a really different look to my curls. I'm gonna just point out right in here, I'm seeing that. I'm also seeing it kind of towards my ends. They're really long right now because I am pretty wet right now. No, my curls are pretty wet right now. Let's rephrase that, okay? Thank you so much, okay? Oh, and I did double check with her what diffuser setting she uses, and she uses high fan speed and low heat, which is the exact same setting that I use. Low heat, high air. All right, so let's continue. Wow, we are about 90% dry. Number one, the volume right now is insane that I'm getting. Like, holy cow, we got a full-on lion's mane. But here's one of the things that we are also getting. We are getting a ton of frizz. And now if you look at Bianca's hair, okay, doing the same type of application, same type of technique, her hair looks very, very, very different, okay? Huge reason being she doesn't have as much dryness, right? Her porosity is very different. Her hair texture is very different. She has thinner hair. I have very thick hair, very dry, thick hair that needs all of the moisture and also needs a lot more just dedicated frizz control, I guess you could say, dedicated frizz control. And that's why I found that finger coiling works really well for me. So what I just want to show you, I'm going to come up really close so you guys can see this right now. Right now you can see we're definitely, I mean, we've got curl clumps, right? But on the ends, things are getting really, really frizzy. And that's because I didn't do that dedicated of any sort. I didn't even brush it. Did not even brush it. By not brushing and by not finger coiling, either way, we got a very different result because my hair was like, oh my gosh, where is this smoothing technique? And that's where like a dead man brush or a detangling brush or finger coiling can come in really in handy. I also minimized how many sections I was using. By doing that with my really thick curls, I wasn't able to get as much product in each curl clump as much as I normally would. So we probably have less product that we use than we would normally. Now, is this bad and is my normal good? Not necessarily, because I love the amount of volume we're getting here. I feel like a lioness. It's really fun. So I would totally be down to doing this probably with a mixture of maybe a little bit of finger coiling, but then using the same amount of product so that we get a little bit more definition, but we still get this amazing amount of lightweight volume. Because I never get this much volume on day one. Like, this is unheard of for volume on day one. What I am also seeing too, that I want to point out, my underlayer is extremely thick, extremely coarse, and more kinky than it is curly down there. So I want to show you, see how much frizz we got down there? Very little definition back here. Normally on day one, like this might be what my day 4, day 5 normally looks like underneath, not my day 1. One thing I want to do in this video is if you are noticing something that you're not liking while you're at like maybe 70+% dry, and you're like, ooh, this is turning out frizzy. Ooh, this is turning out, you know, not how I envisioned it. Now, if it's too heavy, that's a really hard thing to change because it's easier to add extra product in than it is to take it out. So right now, because I'm noticing some of this extra frizz, probably just not hydrated enough, not smoothed down enough, what I'm gonna do is actually, I'm just gonna wet this down a little bit, just so you guys can see, like if you are not happy with a certain area from your wash day, it's not like a lost cause. So I just wanna show you what I would do if I was like, you know what, I really want to just make these areas a little bit smoother, a little bit more defined, but still keep this really beautiful volume. Not kidding, I feel like an absolute lioness. I'm ready for like a model shoot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna go in this section, this bottom nape of the neck section. The oiling cream from Curlsmith, this is what it is. It also comes in a tub option, and I'm actually gonna take the cap off because it is so thick. I actually don't really love it as much in this bottle like I like it the souffle. It's such a thick product that it's hard to get out. So I much prefer it being in the tub. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of that though, okay? Just taking a little bit of that. And we're gonna smooth that over this section. Okay. And just get some extra moisture in there. Because like I said, that under layer of mine, it needs this extra hydration. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go in and do some thicker, quick finger coils just to get that area nice and moisturized and defined. And then the same as we styled before, just give that a really nice, and you can see those are a little bit more piecey, a little bit more clumped up. This is actually from Tea Owls. That's right here. It's like a t-shirt towel. I just got this. I really like the feel. I love the feel of a soft t-shirt. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in and we're gonna just do like a quick diffuse. Hold that on there for maybe 15 seconds at a time. And you can see those curls already are becoming so much more defined and hydrated. So I think what we're dealing with right here is while we have a lot of really beautiful lightweight volume, we have some dry areas because of the high porosity in my hair and because of how thick it is. And then we're also dealing with just not as defined areas as we normally would, which are not bad. But what I am gonna do, just so that we have a little more longevity in these curls and they can last a few more days, I'm gonna go in, add a little bit of my oil and cream because I feel like it needs a little bit more hydration, and I'm gonna add a little bit more of my souffle and just slightly finger coil some of these ends to give them a little bit more definition. I will be right back. Okay, so we are back. I added a little bit of that oil and cream just to give it a little bit of that added hydration. And you can see under here, we did get a little bit more definition by going back in with a little bit of oil and cream because that is Honestly, the oil and cream is one of my products I also cannot live without and have used for years because it is so nice and hydrating for my thick, high porosity curls. But y'all, okay, so I just sent the picture of this to Bianca and was like, girl, the volume right now is insane. I feel like I am ready to go on like a model photo shoot with my huge like lion's mane of hair. This is insane. And also one of the things that we were noticing is I think I actually got a little bit more length out of my curls this way too, because I let it air dry for about 30 minutes and really set up in that length so that we didn't get quite as much shrinkage. So really what this is teaching me, and hopefully you guys, is that by manipulating your routine a little bit and changing it up, I got you, B. So if you change it up like this a little bit, then you're also able to see what else your curls are capable of. And my two biggest takeaways right now is that if I don't do as much finger curling, I'm able to get so much more volume out of my curls day one. And if I let it sit for a little while wet and really set up before I start diffusing, I might be able to get a little bit more length out of my curls too. So we definitely learned some stuff today. This is really fun. Do I think that I'm gonna get as much longevity out of my curls? Because normally I will wash once a week or so. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get as many days out of my curls this way just because I don't have as much definition. So the frizz will continue to get more intense as we go on throughout our week. And that's a given, we all know that. So because I have a lot more frizz on day one, I know that the frizz by like probably day 3 is gonna be pretty intense. So keep that in mind, but you guys, if you take anything away right now, change up your routine, why not? Like this is really fun and just like, I feel like, I don't know, this is like giving me my full like lioness, like, oh, like look at that. Look at her, oh my God. Like, okay, I'm about to go put on like a cute outfit and go like take some pictures. Don't mind me, I know I'm cringy. Thank you so much for Bianca for doing this with me. This was such a fun little change it up challenge. And thank you Curlsmith for sponsoring this video. I greatly appreciate you guys and love you to no end. And if you watching haven't tried any of Curlsmith's products out, definitely check them out below. I do have a discount code. I'm gonna put that here so that you guys can use that for any of the products that you wanna try out. But that is today's video. I hope you really enjoyed it, and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not here already as a permanent part of our community. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Bye guys.